do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
You think it's funny?
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Well, some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight. And, you know what I'm saying? So it's a contract I feel like you got to have with yourself, too, in order for you to be a, you know, great ball player or to have a long career. That's the goal, to be in the league for 20 years, I tell you.
If you thought you'd seen it all, think again. This is Spill News, where secrets explode before your eyes. Because tonight, we're diving straight into the NBA's dirtiest secret, a war that's been brewing for years. And the man who finally decided to say it all out loud, Charles Barkley. Yeah, the same Barkley who's never bitten his tongue, just dropped verbal nukes on LeBron James and Kevin Durant. And the fallout? It's uglier than anyone expected. Imagine this. The biggest legends in the game tearing down the new Kings live on air, calling out manipulation, ego, and the fake loyalty behind every so-called brotherhood in the league. Barkley didn't just criticize them. He exposed a secret war, the silent divide between old-school greatness and modern-day image control. Fans are losing their minds. Players are picking sides. And the NBA's perfect image just cracked wide open. If you were in this position, same betrayal, same threat, what would you do? Because when Hall of Famer calls out the new era's biggest icons, the internet doesn't stay quiet. One viewer said it best. Bro said too much and they got him. Let's break it all down. And trust me, it gets uglier. It all started with a laugh. Not a joke, not a press conference, just a laugh. One podcast episode, one casual moment. Kevin Durant cracked a smirk, LeBron James followed, and suddenly the internet was on fire. What were they laughing about? Michael Jordan. Specifically, his short-lived baseball run after his father's death, a moment that, to most fans, symbolized grief, strength, and raw humanity. But to LeBron and KD, just another punchline. For a few seconds, it was harmless. Two superstars joking around about an era they didn't live through. But then the cameras kept rolling, and Durant leaned in. Man, imagine leaving basketball to go play baseball. That's wild. LeBron chuckled. Yeah, bro said I'm done with hoops. I'ma go hit curveballs. The clip went viral instantly, but not for the reason they expected. Within hours, Charles Barkley's phone was blowing up. Reporters, producers, former teammates, all asking the same thing. Did you see what LeBron and KD said about MJ? And for Barkley, that was it. That was the moment he snapped. Because for him, for that whole generation, you don't laugh at Michael Jordan. You don't laugh at the man who built the league you now profit from. On TNT, sitting under those studio lights, Barkley leaned forward and dropped the first bomb. Let me tell you something, he said, his voice cutting through the chatter. You don't get to mock Michael Jordan if you never had to be Michael Jordan. The room went quiet. The producers froze. Shaq raised his eyebrows, waiting. These young guys, Barkley continued, they've had it easy. They got social media love, brand deals, private jets, but they didn't face that era. They didn't get knocked to the floor by the Pistons and come back the next night stronger. And just like that, the NBA's secret war had a new headline. That clip, 3 minutes long, spread across every timeline. Barkley exposes LeBron. Barkley calls out KD. Old era strikes back. But beneath the noise, something real was happening. Barkley wasn't just defending Jordan. He was defending what basketball used to mean. See, what most people miss is that this wasn't the first jab. LeBron's been sending coded shots for years. Little lines that sound harmless until you connect them. Remember when he said, "We done with the 90s?" At first, fans thought it was just another quote. But looking back, that was the opening shot. A quiet dismissal of everything that came before him. And KD? He played along, mocking that era as overrated in interviews, downplaying the physicality, calling it slow-paced nostalgia. Barkley had let it slide long enough. But when that podcast dropped, it crossed a line, because Jordan's baseball run wasn't just a detour. It was pain turned into purpose. Barkley knew the story personally. He'd been there in the locker rooms. He'd seen the grief, To watch two modern icons laugh about it felt like sacrilege. And when Barkley speaks, he doesn't whisper. On live TV, he threw down hard. LeBron wants to rewrite the story so he looks like a hero. KD wants to be in the GOAT talk, but he joined a 73-win team. These dudes forgot what respect looks like. The camera cut to Ernie Johnson, trying to defuse the moment with a half smile. But Barkley wasn't done. "You know what's funny?" he said. "They think being great is about followers and cameras." Jordan didn't care about that. He cared about rings. He cared about domination. By the time they went to commercial, hashtag Barkley Exposed was trending worldwide. Clips flooded TikTok. One fan wrote, "Finally, someone said it. Barkley's the last real one." Another added, "LeBron laughed at Jordan's pain, that's wild." But behind the memes and the headlines, something deeper was shifting. Sources close to the league started whispering that Barkley wasn't just ranting, he was retaliating. Apparently, there had been tension brewing behind the scenes for months. Certain players had grown tired of Barkley's old-school commentary. They saw him as a relic, a loud critic who refused to accept change. In group chats and closed-door events, Barkley's name had come up more than once. One anonymous insider claimed that LeBron's camp had even pushed to have Barkley limited on broadcasts. "He's bad for the brand," one exec allegedly said. "Too unpredictable." Another insider said KD privately called him a bitter old dude who can't keep up. Barkley heard every word. So that night on TNT, that wasn't just commentary. It was revenge. A public checkmate from a man who'd had enough of the whisper campaigns. "You call me old," he barked on air, "but I call it experience. I play with men. Y'all play with cameras." And that's when it hit. This wasn't about Jordan anymore. This was about control. About who gets to define greatness. The old guard, Barkley, Shaq, MJ, even Reggie Miller, believed in toughness, loyalty, grind. The new guard, LeBron, KD, Kyrie, believed in brand power, narrative control, social capital. Two worlds colliding, and Barkley had just lit the fuse. Even the networks didn't know what to do. ESPN debated whether to cover it. TNT was already bracing for backlash. LeBron's PR team went into overdrive, calling the rant outdated and personal. KD subtweeted, posting, "Old heads always mad. We just better." That post alone racked up 2 million likes. But Barkley didn't care. He doubled down. The next morning on radio, he said, "If speaking the truth makes me the villain, then so be it." Meanwhile, fans dug deeper. Old interviews resurfaced where Barkley hinted at corruption in the league, how certain players get protected. Old tweets from LeBron circle mocking past legends suddenly didn't age well. The pattern was too clear to ignore. And then came the clip that changed everything. An old behind-the-scenes video from the 2023 All-Star Weekend. It showed LeBron and KD joking backstage, mimicking Jordan's stance, pretending to swing a bat, and bursting into laughter. The crowd watching live had no idea. But now, millions saw it online, and the backlash exploded. "This is beyond disrespect," one former player wrote. "That man lost his father. You don't joke about that." Suddenly, it wasn't just Barkley versus LeBron and KD. It was the entire basketball world. Splitting in two, older legends started chiming in. Isaiah Thomas, Pippen, even Allen Iverson backed Barkley publicly. "We built this house," Iverson posted. "Don't spit on it." But LeBron stayed silent. No statement, no tweet, just cryptic posts about fake narratives and selective outrage. Fans noticed. KD, on the other hand, couldn't resist. He fired back. "Y'all sensitive. Jokes ain't that deep." But the tone was defensive, almost nervous. Because now, it wasn't just about jokes. It was about legacy. And the one man bold enough to protect it had just declared war. And deep down, Barkley knew this was going to cost him. He could feel the network tension, the phone calls, the "we need to talk" messages. But he didn't flinch. Because the truth is, Barkley wasn't offending MJ for fame. He was defending what the game used to stand for, before money and media turned it into theater. He once said off camera, "You can't buy legacy. You Earn it. And if I have to be the last one saying that, then I'll say it louder. That night, the TNT studio lights flickered off, but the echoes of Barkley's rant were just starting to spread. Social media was flooded with clips, threads, and conspiracies, everyone trying to piece together what Barkley really meant when he called it the NBA's secret war. Was he talking about money, influence, or something deeper? The moral divide between authenticity and ambition? Whatever it was, one thing was clear. Barkley had drawn the line in public. And now, everyone, fans, players, even networks, had to choose a side. But what came next, even his enemies didn't expect. The next morning, the NBA didn't look the same. Talk shows went into meltdown mode, and headlines painted Barkley like he'd just declared civil war inside the league. Old guard versus new kings. Barkley exposes a culture divide. But behind the cameras, something darker was unraveling. Because Barkley's rant didn't just ruffle feathers, it exposed something the league desperately wanted to keep buried. For years, there had been whispers, private dinners, PR manipulation, hidden media control. According to one anonymous insider from a sports agency, LeBron and KD weren't just building brands. They were building alliances. It's not just about basketball anymore, the insider said. They control the story, the image, even who gets airtime. That was the real secret war. It wasn't about who was the better player. It was about who controlled the narrative. And when Barkley called out, he wasn't wrong. Within days, a so-called leaked media memo started circulating online, a document allegedly showing how certain outlets were paid to emphasize modern accomplishments over past eras. One page even mentioned Phase 2, shifting audience perception from 90s dominance to current greatness. Fans went ballistic. They're literally rewriting history. One user posted on X, Barkley was right all along. LeBron's camp called it fake. KD's manager laughed it off. But the timing was suspicious, because suddenly, old clips and interviews started disappearing from YouTube, debates, classic Jordan segments. Even Barkley's old interviews vanished overnight. That's when fans knew something wasn't right. And Barkley? He was doubling down again. In a fiery radio segment, he said, "They can delete videos, but they can't delete the truth. These dudes been working overtime to act like the past never happened. And I'm sick of it." His words hit like a punch to the gut of NBA PR. For decades, the league built its image on clean narratives, GOAT debates, wholesome icons, brand-friendly storylines. But Barkley had cracked that perfect glass. You got players forming super teams, hand-picking coaches, controlling social media, calling themselves kings, he said. Ain't nobody calling them out. So I will. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, it did. A podcast clip leaked from a private taping between KD and LeBron, an unaired segment from Mind the Game, where they allegedly mocked old players crying for attention. KD was heard saying, "Man, Barkley's just mad we got more influence than he ever did." LeBron laughed, replying, "They hate when you change the system they built." When that audio hit the internet, everything exploded. Barkley's fans went feral. Legends like Shaquille O'Neal and Reggie Miller started speaking out publicly. "That ain't how we were raised," Shaq said on his show. "You respect the ones who came before you, period." Suddenly, the NBA's secret war wasn't secret anymore. It was open fire. Two eras, one defined by toughness, one by image, colliding in front of millions. And for LeBron and KD, it was getting uncomfortable. The comment sections on their pages turned toxic overnight. Every post flooded with Jordan memes, goat emojis, and fans saying, "You mocked the man who made you." Sponsors started calling. PR teams panicked. One leaked email from Nike's internal communications even showed concern over the rising anti-modern sentiment among consumers. But Barkley? He was chilling. He'd been through worse. "They'll try to spin it," he said on a follow-up show, smirking. "They'll call me bitter, call me jealous, but I ain't scared of truth." Then came the bombshell interview. A reporter from an independent sports blog released a transcript of a supposed off-air conversation between Barkley and a retired NBA executive. The line that shook the internet read, "There's a system protecting certain players. LeBron and KD ain't just athletes. They're investments. You say the wrong thing about them, your career's done. It's not basketball anymore, it's politics. That quote spread faster than wildfire. The NBA immediately denied it, calling it fabricated. But fans didn't care. It felt true, and that's all it took. Meanwhile, Barkley's TNT colleagues tried to play it safe, but you could feel the tension on screen. Shaq tried to steer conversations away. Kenny Smith kept glancing off camera, like producers were whispering through earpieces. Ernie Johnson looked like a man trying to prevent an earthquake with a paper cup. Barkley didn't blink. "Y'all scared to talk about it?" he snapped live. That's the problem right there. Everybody's scared to lose something. I done lost before. I'll lose again, but I won't lose my voice. It was like watching a live execution. Barkley versus the system, one mic drop at a time. Meanwhile, LeBron broke his silence, subtly, of course. On Instagram, he posted a photo of himself holding a crown emoji with the caption, "Still the king, still winning." It looked confident, but insiders claimed it was a deflection. He's rattled. One former teammate said anonymously, he don't like when old heads check him publicly. He's obsessed with a narrative. KD responded too, but in his usual sarcastic tone. On X, he posted, "If speaking your mind makes you the villain, I guess we all Barkley now." It was meant to be ironic. Fans didn't see it that way. They saw his arrogance, proof that the new era had no respect left. And then came the biggest twist yet, an unexpected ally. Michael Jordan himself, quiet for years, staying out of debates, suddenly stepped in, not with an interview, not with a press statement, but with a simple quote shared through an old teammate. "I never laugh at their struggles. I just played through mine." 16 words. That's all it took. The internet froze. Barkley smiled live on TNT, saying, "That's why he's the GOAT. You see? No hashtags, no subtweets, just truth." At that moment, Barkley didn't just look like a retired player defending an old friend. He looked like the last soldier of a dying era. Fans started calling him the custodian of real basketball. Memes labeled him the last honest man in sports. And for the first time in years, the conversation shifted. Analysts began questioning the state of modern basketball. Had we lost the grind? One headline read. Others asked whether Barkley was right. Had the league become too obsessed with marketing and not enough with legacy? Behind the scenes, the NBA was nervous. Executives reportedly reached out to TNT, hinting that Barkley's commentary might compromise partnerships. But firing him? Impossible. He was TNT. The backlash would destroy them. So instead, they tried the oldest trick in the book, distraction. Suddenly, media started pushing fluff stories. New sneaker deals, charity appearances, LeBron's family moments. Anything to drown out the growing secret war narrative. But it didn't work, because Barkley's words had already hit where no PR could fix. The fans' trust. And the fans had questions. Why did legends from the past keep getting mocked? Why did players who built the foundation get erased from documentaries, rankings, and NBA promos? Why did greatness suddenly sound like marketing instead of sacrifice? It was too late. The secret war wasn't just a theory anymore. It was trending on every platform, dissected in podcasts, and argued in barbershops across the country. But just when it seemed like Barkley had finally won the moral high ground, just when LeBron and KD were cornered by the backlash, something else leaked. Something that flipped the script again. An anonymous post appeared on Reddit titled, "Barkley's past isn't as clean as he claims, receipts inside." Screenshots, alleged emails, photos, whispers of hypocrisy. And in the blink of an eye, the hunter became the hunted. Because what came next didn't just threaten his career, it threatened everything he stood for. The Reddit post hit like a bomb. At first, nobody believed it. But within hours, it was everywhere. Screenshots, timestamps, whispers of deleted emails and unseen footage. The post claimed that Charles Barkley, the same man who'd been preaching about integrity, had been part of his own media protection ring years ago. It included alleged messages from 2017 showing that Barkley had quietly accepted brand deals in exchange for staying silent on certain NBA controversies. It was perfect timing, too perfect. Almost like someone had been saving that ammo, waiting for the right moment to fire back. The same morning those leaks dropped, LeBron posted a cryptic story on Instagram, a photo of a chessboard with the caption, "Checkmate." KD reposted it with a flame emoji. The internet went nuclear. Suddenly, the story had flipped. Barkley wasn't the truth teller anymore. He was the target. The man who'd been exposing others was now being exposed. Sports blogs called it poetic justice. The hunter got hunted, one headline read, but others weren't convinced. The timing was suspicious, and the evidence was sketchy. One of the supposed emails had metadata from a year Barkley wasn't even working with TNT. Still, it didn't matter. The damage was done. Overnight, #BarkleyLeaks started trending. His reputation, the same authenticity that had made him a fan favorite, was now under attack. Some fans offended him fiercely. "You really think Barkley needs hush money? Please." Others turned cold. "He just mad the new guys learned from him," one commenter wrote. And then the NBA released an official statement, the first of its kind, saying it does not condone divisive public remarks that disparage active players. No names were mentioned, but everyone knew who it was aimed at. TNT executives called Barkley in for a private meeting. According to one insider, they told him to cool off for a while and let the noise fade. But Barkley refused. On his next appearance, he came in swinging. "I've been called a lot of things in my life. Overrated, loud, even crazy. But fake? Never that." He looked straight into the camera. "If this is their way of shutting me up, it ain't gonna work. Because the truth don't need permission." You could feel the room freeze. Shaq leaned back, muttering, "Here we go again." Ernie looked like he was reading invisible teleprompters in the air, trying to stop what was coming. But Barkley didn't care. "I see what this is," he continued. "You start talking about power, influence, and all these fake narratives, and suddenly you got leaks. I've been in this game too long to believe in coincidences." And then he said it, the line that would echo for days. "They got their machine, but I got my mouth, and my mouth don't miss." The audience gasped. TNT cut to commercial early, but it was too late. The internet had already clipped it, subtitled it, and sent it viral. That night, Barkley's name dominated every sports show in America. Half the analysts called him reckless. The other half called him brave. But the truth was, he was isolated, a lone soldier in a war that wasn't meant to be won. Behind the scenes, Barkley's allies started backing away. A PR rep reportedly advised him to apologize and move on. Shaq, while still friendly on camera, started avoiding the topic entirely. Even Jordan stayed quiet this time. The silence from the GOAT was deafening. Then came the next hit, a new leak. A private voicemail surfaced, allegedly between Barkley and a retired referee, suggesting backroom deals during his analyst years. The clip was grainy and heavily edited, but the damage was irreversible. The media feasted on it. Barkley called it fabricated trash. Still, headlines screamed Barkley fixed games. By day 3, it wasn't just a scandal. It was a takedown. The man who'd once been the loudest voice in basketball now looked like a cornered fighter, swinging in every direction. But what made it tragic and almost cinematic was that Barkley still refused to quit. "I ain't scared of losing my seat," he said during a podcast interview. "I was broke before. I'll be fine again. But I'm not going to sit here while they rewrite the game and erase the truth. If they can do this to me, imagine what they can do to anyone who speaks out." That line hit differently, because now the audience wasn't just watching a scandal. They were watching a man slowly burn for his principles. Whether he was guilty or not didn't even matter anymore. He had become the symbol of rebellion, messy, flawed, but brutally honest. Days later, something strange happened. Anonymous files appeared online, this time defending Barkley. Screenshots of internal network emails suggesting coordinated PR suppression. A memo titled, "Contain Barkley Fallout," show plans to flood the internet with counter-narratives. Nobody knew who leaked them, but the pattern was clear. The secret war wasn't over. It had just gone underground. Meanwhile, Barkley had gone quiet. No TV appearances, no radio shows, no statements. Fans speculated everything: suspension, gag order, even buyout talks. Then out of nowhere, he appeared live on Instagram, sitting in his living room, unshaven and exhausted, but calm. He looked straight into the camera and said, "You can take away my mic, my show, my sponsors, but you can't take away the truth. They want to turn me into the villain, 'cause I said the game changed. But it did. Y'all know it. It's not about basketball anymore. It's about control." He paused and added softly, "And I ain't apologizing for saying it. The live stream cut off after 5 minutes, but the damage, or maybe the legacy, was sealed. Comments flooded in like confessions. He's the last real one left. They tried to silence him, but they made him immortal." From that moment on, Barkley wasn't just a commentator. He was a martyr for old school basketball, a man who stood up against the system and paid the price. And the irony? The same LeBron and KD who had mocked Jordan's struggles now found themselves being called out by fans for lacking integrity. Y'all tried to erase the past. One tweet read, "And now you're watching history repeat itself." The backlash reached its peak when a clip from Barkley's old rant resurfaced again, re-edited with a haunting caption: "When you fight the machine, it fights back." It went viral one more time, this time as a message, not a scandal. Weeks later, Barkley quietly stepped away from broadcasting. No press conference. No farewell episode. Just gone. TNT issued a sterile statement. "We thank Charles Barkley for his contributions to sports entertainment." Fans weren't buying it. They knew what happened. And then, out of nowhere, a single post appeared on Barkley's old X account. One that no one could confirm if he wrote. It read, "They can silence the man, but not the message." That was the last anyone heard from him. And the league? It moved on, pretending nothing ever happened. LeBron dropped another podcast episode. KD posted another meme. The headlines faded, but the tension didn't. Because the truth is, Barkley didn't just expose the NBA's secret war. He became it. He proved that in today's game, it's not the scoreboard that decides who wins. It's who controls the story. And that's the part no one wants to talk about. He vanished without a trace. But the secret stayed. And that right there is the real story. Not about stats, not about trophies, not even about basketball. It's about truth. And what happens when someone dares to speak it in a world built on image? Charles Barkley didn't just start a fight with LeBron James and Kevin Durant. He exposed a system that protects them. He pulled the curtain back on the NBA's secret war, where loyalty is a hashtag and legacy is for sale. Now, the question isn't whether Barkley was right or wrong. The question is, what happens next? Because if a Hall of Famer like Barkley can be silenced, what chance does anyone else have? How many more truths have already been buried under sponsorships, deals, and PR spin? The internet can clown him, call him bitter, call him outdated. But deep down, everybody knows he said what millions were thinking. You can feel in every arena, every podcast, every interview that suddenly feels a little too polished, a little too rehearsed. And maybe that's the real fear. Not that Barkley went too far, but that he told the truth too early. So what do you think? Did Barkley go too far? Or did he finally say what everyone else was too scared to? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned. Because here on Spill News, we dig deeper than the headlines. We follow the leaks, and we don't stop when the cameras do. This is Spill News, where secrets explode before your eyes. And trust me, this story isn't ending. It's just beginning.